Hi guys, welcome to our first lecture. So this is the first lecture of horticulture. It's going to be called Plant Basics. So horticulture is actually a part of agriculture that focuses on crops. Usually it's going to be fruits or vegetables, and sometimes it's ornamental plants. So we're going to focus on all of that this year. So we'll learn how to care for vegetables and fruits and how to grow flowers. So to begin with, plants are essential to live on the earth and provide, either directly or indirectly, all of the food for everybody that's living. Every person, every animal that's alive needs plants to live. In addition, they also provide us fuel. They replenish our oxygen. They prevent soil erosion. They're going to slow down the wind, so sometimes people plant them like as wind barriers. They cool our atmosphere, right? They provide us shade. They provide wildlife habitats. They're going to give us medicine, and they make it beautiful. So plants don't just grow, right? I mean, they grow, but they need things to grow. So what they need is light, carbon dioxide, water, and nutrients. Those are all things that we'll focus on figuring out how much plants need and what they need. For this picture, you can see here, we have our light energy that comes from the sun. We have oxygen, which is what plants are going to give out. They are going to take in carbon dioxide. Whoops, I circled that bad. They're going to give us out sugar. Then there's these bottom ones, right? They're going to take in water, and they take in minerals. I can't get my cursor on minerals. It doesn't like me. Right here. And they take in minerals. Okay. We'll focus on these needs this year when we grow particular plants. Hopefully we'll get some face-to-face time this year and we'll be able to grow them in the greenhouse. But if not, we have some plants and some seeds for you guys to grow, so you'll work on that at home. So let's start with the basics, the review of a plant cell. You've done this, all of you have done this in basic bio, okay? So like all living things, plants are made of cells. These cells have most of the same structures as animal cells, okay? They're missing centrioles that are in animal cells that aren't in plants, but that doesn't matter, okay? The three important things that plants have that animals don't is going to be a cell wall, which is this right here on the edge, right? They have chloroplast. Chloroplasts are, let me get my cursor to show you. These big green blobs here, they kind of look like mitochondria, but they're not, because the mitochondria is that little red one next to it, right? And then the last one is a central vacuole. That's this big area right here. And in this picture, this is how you normally see it, but when you look at an actual picture of a plant cell, the central vacuole takes up most of it. All right, so here's your cell wall first. Cell walls are made of cellulose. They're only found in plant cells and a few other animals. Some bacteria have them. Cellulose is a sugar that's going to be a structural component. What that means is that it's not used for energy. Okay, it's used because plants don't have bones. Instead, they have cellulose that keeps them square like that, that lets them stack up so they can get tall enough, right? And cellulose can't be broken down by people, right? Some animals can break down cellulose, but humans can't. A plant cell, when you think of it, you want to think of a water balloon. The cell, and if you put a water balloon into a cardboard box, right? The cell wall would be the cardboard box, and the water balloon would be the cell, right? The balloon's protected by the cell wall, the box that it's put in. Okay, so that's kind of what a cell wall is. And if we look in this picture, the cell wall would be where this arrow is pointing, right? It's the structure that's between, let me get my pointer to work. It's this structure here. Okay, this is the cell wall for the cell. Okay. The next one would be the central vacuole, and the central vacuole is going to be a large organelle that's going to store things. So this will store nutrients, waste, water, and some toxins in plants. So as it breaks, it's kind of like the trash. As it breaks stuff down, sometimes the cell wall will store it to get rid of it. The central vacuole is also what provides turgor pressure. Turgor pressure might be something you didn't hear about in bio. Okay, so what turgor pressure is this is the pressure. I have an airplane going by. This is the pressure that is created when you take that cell wall and you fill it up with water. It pushes against the sides of the cell. Okay, now think of that box and that water balloon inside of it. If the water balloon gets really full, it's going to hold the box out and it's going to push. Now, if you emptied the water balloon inside that box, the box could crush in because there's nothing pushing against it. right? So when you water a plant, the water balloon fills up and you have turgor pressure. It pushes against the edges of the box and it keeps the box sturdy. When plants wilt or when they lose water, right, the cell walls kind of collapse in a little bit, and that's why the plant goes from standing up to kind of drooping over, because it got droopy because the cell walls don't have any pressure pushed against them. It's lost its turgor pressure. And turgor pressure, like I said earlier, is what keeps plants standing up. Okay, it's what provides the support because they don't have skeletons like humans do. Chloroplast is the next one. So chloroplast, this is our last organelle that's different in plants, right? And chloroplasts are going to contain chlorophyll, and chlorophyll is what makes plants green. All right. The chloroplast, which you already know this, is where plants undergo photosynthesis. Okay, so photosynthesis takes place in the chloroplast. Photosynthesis, let's remember from way back in bio, photosynthesis is when your plants are going to take in carbon dioxide, right, and give out oxygen. They also take in water and they give out sugar. All right, that's how plants make energy that we all use to stay alive, and that's why we need plants, right? So sunlight, they take in sunlight first. The sunlight gives the energy to change that carbon dioxide and that water into sugar and oxygen that we then breathe. Annuals versus perennials. This is going to be something we talk about in this class often when we talk about plants, okay? So some plants are annuals. What that means is they last one growing season. So think of the plants around here that people plant in the summer or in the spring, and they only last the summer and then they die. Petunias, marigolds, zinnias, impatiens, those were examples of them. Then you have some plants that are called perennials. Perennials are the ones that come back again. You know how some plants come back after like summer after summer after summer? Those are perennials, all right? Lots of times they're not as showy and they're not as pretty as annuals, but they come back a lot, or they always do. And then lastly, the basic parts of the plant, and we're going to go into these parts in more detail later. But for the basic parts of the plants, and these are the things that all plants have, right? All plants have leaves, and leaves are over here, right? All plants have leaves. Leaves are where photosynthesis happens. It's where they make their food. All plants have stems, right? So they have some sort of stem. This is the stem of this plant. This is what supports the plant, and it's what transports water and nutrients. All plants have roots. Roots are always going to be the part that are underground, and the roots are going to be what absorbs the water and the nutrients. All plants have flowers of some sort. Okay, the flowers are going to be what allows for pollination of the seeds. Okay, some plants have fruit. Not all plants have fruit, but fruit, which is right here, right? This is going to be what protects the seeds and helps it get dispersed, because the point of a plant and the point of a flower is to get the seeds to spread so that then you can have more plants being made, right? So all plants have flowers because they need to make more offspring, right? And some plants have fruit, which are going to hold the seeds, so rather than being dispersed by wind, think of dandelion, blow it and it goes, right? Those don't have fruit. You have like a tomato, let's say, where an animal is going to eat it and then disperse the seeds when they poop, because the seeds are going to come back out, and then more tomatoes will grow where they pooped. And then seeds, lastly, all plants are going to have some sort of seed, and the seed is going to be a tiny little plant, right, inside a covering, and when it hits the right conditions, it causes the plant to grow. Okay, so those are your plant basics. This week you're going to find some plants around your house, and you're going to take pictures of them, you're going to label them. We'll go into that next in the class meeting that we'll have.